Hi, my name is Sun Hui, and welcome to Transcendentalism 101. You may be wondering, what is Transcendentalism? Well, today on this show, we'll be answering the questions for you.
American Transcendentalism was founded in Concord, Massachusetts in 1836.
It was an American literary, political, and philosophical movement of the early 19th century.
It began with the founding of the Transcendental Club, whose movement members included Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, Margaret Fuller, Nathaniel Hawthorne, and Bronson Alcott.
They believed that society and its intuitions ultimately corrupted the purity of the individual and had faith that people are the best when self-reliant and independent.
They believed in inherent goodness and humanity of all nature. Transcendentalism was spiritual and was essential to truly discovering yourself. God is located in the soul of each individual, and it is their job to find them. This is what they believed. They believed that God, who they called Oversoul, created all living and non-living things alike, and that an individual's highest potential can only be achieved through complete awareness of the truth and the beauty of the natural world.
What I am about to read is an excerpt from Henry David Thoreau's essay on civil disobedience. It says, "I heartily accept the motto, that government is best which governs least.
And I should like to see it acted up to more rapidly and systematically. Carried out, it finally amounts to this, which also I believe, that government is best which governs not at all. When men are prepared for it, that will be the kind of government which they will have."
He believes that the people's first obligation is to do what they believe is right, and not to follow the law dictated by the majority. He also believes that when a government is unjust, people should refuse to follow the law and distance themselves from the government in general. Not only has this essay inspired transcendentalists at this time, but it has inspired many movement leaders, including Martin Luther King Jr. and Mahatma Gandhi.
And now we will be introducing to you for one of our guests, Henry David Thoreau.
I'm busy, I'm writing my essay, but I guess I can answer a few questions.
Okay, well, what do you do?
Well, I am a transcendentalist, and I write essays about nature and how I feel. I was inspired by my mentor, Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Hello, that's me.
We both went to Harvard together. We both graduated from Harvard. Now, I wrote poetry with him, and I also wrote the book Walden. Now, I can't stand slavery. And this Mexican-American war, what are they doing? They need to go to nature and find themselves. This expansion of all this, it's just ridiculous. Now, I must say, I have been in jail, but that's because I did not pay my taxes. While I was there, I wrote the essay on civil disobedience. So, in my essay that I wrote while I was in jail, I argued that government really proves itself and that it derives power from the majority because they are not the strongest group. People's first obligation is to do what they believe is right. When a government is unjust, I think people should rebel. When a government is unjust, you guys need to stand up for yourselves and rebel. People should refuse to follow the law and distance themselves from the government. Our government is unjust, given their support for slavery and their aggression of war.
So, we just finished interviewing Henry David Thoreau, and now we will be going to his friend, Ralph Waldo Emerson. So, Ralph Waldo Emerson, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you can tell, I'm a very handsome gentleman. But besides that,
I am an American essayist, philosopher, and poet who influenced those such as Herman Melville, Henry David Thoreau, and Emily Dickinson. I led the Transcendentalist movement of the mid-19th century. I was seen as a champion of individualism and a prescient critic of the countervailing pressures of society.
Just a little breather. You're getting old.
I believe
emotional?
I'm very, very emotional thinking about all those I've inspired. I'm a big believer in miracle, inspiration, and ecstasy. I read Hindu and Buddhist scriptures. I entered the ministry. I resigned from the church, and I became the lead spokesman of the Transcendentalists.
Here's a little bit about the Broke Farm. The Broke Farm, also known as the Broke Farm Institute of Education and Agriculture, was a Transcendentalist utopian experiment put into practice by Transcendentalist former Unitarian minister George Ripley, his wife Sophia Ripley, and about 15 other members. It was a farm in West Roxbury, Massachusetts, at that time 9 miles away from Boston. The community in operation from 1841 to 1847 was inspired by the socialist concepts of Charles Fourier. Fourierism was the belief that there could be a utopian society where people could share together and have a better lifestyle.
Since we have finished interviewing those two men, people have been questioning how is the movement known as the Romanticism exemplified by the Transcendentalists and the artists of this time period. Well, we'll dig into that and see what is going on. The Romanticism era was a movement in the arts and literature that was originated in the late 18th century. It emphasized inspiration, subjectivity, and the primacy or more importance of the individual. The Romantic era was exemplified to Transcendentalists because they believed that society and institutions corrupted the purity of the individual. They thought that people are at their best when they are self-reliant and independent.
The key to success is nature, individualism,
Spirituality,
transcendentalism,
Transcendentalism.
I was when
I started.
Hold on.
Breathe. So we just finished interviewing Transcendentalism.